Hey, Kevin Yates from KevinRYates.com coming to you today live from my dungeon. This is my area where I do my workouts. Basically, it's my garage. But this is like my little sanctuary. And this morning I was up early. I was feeling good, and I was going through a heavy leg workout. And what happens to me, happens to me a lot. It's like I get about halfway through the workout. I'm in the middle of the set. I'm lifting heavy loads. And it's back here, it's all my squatting and leg work today. But anyway, I'm getting through, a set. I'm about halfway into the workout and everything. And then my mind starts telling me to stop. Starts telling me all the reasons why I'm going to hurt myself. I can't do it. This is dangerous. I need to stop. There's a million excuses that my mind will come up with to try to get me to quit. And so what I have to do, like with myself, is when I'm going through that, I have to ask myself what it is that I'm fighting for. What is it, Kevin, that you are fighting for? I have to kind of go through that. It's like this mental thing in my head. And I have to start understanding what it is that I really want. Why I'm doing this. Why I'm putting myself through these strenuous workouts. What it is that I'm fighting for. And it's the same thing that I'm asking you, because it's a metaphor for life. What is it that you're fighting for? If you're not fighting for what you want, every single day that you're out there doing what you're doing, if it's a job that you can't stand doing, if your health isn't where you want it to be, if you are confident, you're not feeling alive, if whatever it is, if you're not as successful as you want to be, if there's this dream that you've got, what are you doing? What are you fighting for? Because if you're not willing to fight for it, every single day that you let go by without fighting for what it is that you want is another day that you're fighting for whatever it is that's holding you back. You may not be fighting for it purposefully or purposely, but you're doing it unconsciously. One way or another, you're either fighting for what you want or you're fighting for what you don't want based on your actions. And that's the key, man. You got to be out there. You got to be thinking about what it is that you're fighting for and define it for yourself. What is it? And it's not really what you think it is. So you might be thinking, well, I want more money, or I want a better career, or I want to be healthier, or, whatever the goal is. You got to go deeper than that, because that's not what it is. The case in point is my own example. When I was working for 10 years in a job that I was just completely miserable with in the grocery industry, and I was just so unhappy with it, and I was always complaining. I was like the number one complainer about all the reasons why I hated the job, all the dreams that I had that one day I was going to do, but I never did them, right? I was never doing anything about it. I was just complaining about everything, and the only thing I wasn't doing was anything to improve my situation. I wasn't doing anything to get out of it, because I always saw myself as like the victim. I always saw myself as powerless, like there's nothing I can do about it. And it just kept building and building. And finally I started to realize that if I don't fight for what it is that I want, no one's going to bring it to me. I'm not going to wake up one day and have it magically fall in my lap. I had to make a decision that I was going to start fighting for what I wanted. And I finally did it, because when push came to shove, I finally got the catalyst I was looking for when my boss confronted me about something that I had a personal issue with. And it was like, he was cornering me in the office. He was like, going through his bully tactics and everything. And I finally had it. And I said, forget this crap. I'm out of here. And that day right there, I walked out of that office and I walked out of that job right in the middle of my shift. I decided that was it. And I went out. And the thing was that I didn't have a steady paycheck now that I was without a job. I walked out of that job without a paycheck. I walked out without any benefits. I walked out without any predictable income. And I didn't know, really what I was going to do about it. I had some ideas and everything, but I just walked out. So I didn't have the job. I didn't have the paycheck. I didn't have the benefits. But the one thing that I did have that I felt was worth fighting for was my freedom. And I had it not because it was given to me. I had it because I was willing to go and fight for it on that day. And I never looked back at that. I never went back to that damn job. And I continued. That was the catalyst that woke me up, like really woke me up, and started getting me thinking bigger about myself and acting bolder in my life. And that's the same thing you got to do. You got to ask yourself, what is it that you're fighting for? And again, it's not the job, it's not the money. For me, it wasn't because I wanted a better job. That's not what I was fighting for. The thing I was fighting for was I knew I was fighting for having the time to spend with my wife when I wanted to. I knew I was sick and tired of being told I had to come in on Sundays, or I had to come in and work graveyard shift, or I had to work holidays, and I couldn't have any control over my time. I was sick and tired of that. I was fighting for my freedom. I knew exactly what it was. You got to do the same thing. You got to define what it is that you're fighting for. Know what it is, because if you don't know what you're fighting for, you're never going to get it. You're never going to get that dream that you might have somewhere in you. You got a dream. You just got to bring it out and be willing to fight for that dream. All right, so I'm going to let you sit on that. And in the meantime, get out there, define what it is that you want, and be willing to step up from here on, from this day forward, and fight for that dream you've got. What are you fighting for? Talk to you soon.